Warning, this video was brought to you by me, who is a racist, sexist, homophobic, transphobic, anti-Semitic, generally bigoted person. Please enjoy the movie.
Left 4 Dead 2 is a first-person, fast-action, zombie apocalypse, resource management, survival horror, dating, and walking simulator.
Ready for this?
Made by Valve Software before they became Valve Corporation. The game, 15 freaking years after its release, still has a loved and cherished modding community. Vanilla Left 4 Dead 2 is an awesome sauce game, but why enjoy the horror and grittiness when you can play as 4 John Halos violently murdering furries? The workshop holds such wondrous and fantastical modifications for the game, such as Woman with Big Boobas, the girl from Dragon Ball, Chinese spyware, the cat from Animal Crossing, Puppy Dog, Jake Blorden, Plank, naughty stuff with Mr. White, not Hasune Miku, the bitch from Animal Crossing, the base as fuck gentle dudes from OG COD Zombos, and Trans Zoe. What the fuck?
This is LocalGuttman, or Gutty as I call him. I'm more familiar with this version of him from the blue-haired character from Paranormal End Park Dead, whatever it's called. He changed his profile to this some time ago with Marceline, but now it's just this one that says, "Fuck this country," after the 2024 election. Gutty is a modder on the workshop who has made some bizarre and interesting mods. Not much is known about him, since his profile is completely private, and he allows for no comments on his mods. Gutty's most notable mods are the trans survivors, where this whippersnapper takes the survivors, flips their sexes, and keeps their original faces intact. With those who know of his mods, there exists a divide. Those who assume this is all legit, and those who assume that it's all a troll. Kind of a lie though, most people assume that it's an elaborate prank by some experienced modder. But, is this accurate? Is Gutty simply a troll? Or is Gutty a legitimate modder? What caused this division? Am I wasting my time talking about all this? All these questions may or may not be answered, but let me take you through a journey of the trans survivors in a dark and depressing world. We start off on top of a building, as all good stories start. We follow Zoe and her friends as they make their way to Mercy Hospital in a non-conventional way to avoid social interaction. The Trans Zoe mod, depicting Zach, was released on July 4th, 2024 at 10:41 a.m. Every mod made by Gutty has their own little quote he stole from the internet at the start of their description. And this comes directly from an H-Bomber Guy tweet. The gender criticals really do want trans people to suffer more than they want cis women to have human rights. The description reads, "Sad to see Pride Month end. Now all of a sudden it's fine to be transphobic, racist, and homophobic after June. The alt-right always loves to joke and rejoice at the very moment it ends, because they never accomplish anything in their worthless lives, and their only sense of enjoyment and fulfillment comes from belittling anybody that disagrees with them. They lack any form of intelligent thinking, hence why they never finished college, and has to resort to blaming everything on the left for their failures. I find it real funny that the incels who were stalking me suddenly stopped after months of being inactive. This was another factor of why I didn't upload anything at the start of Pride Month. I was already planning on uploading my overhauled version of Lana, but But I already knew that the same group of incels will immediately start repeating the same raid that they usually do once I start upload. And it clearly shows how consistent they are at stopping every time I upload something every 2 to 3 months. It goes to show you that the conservative alt-right are counting on these chuds to lead their cause. Unhygienic, undergraduated college dropouts, sexist and racist basement dwellers, skinny losers whose diets consist of Cheetos, tenders, and Hot Pockets, who accomplished absolutely nothing in their lives, has zero to no social skills, and is a disgrace to their own family and to the entire world. I am literally in tears that this is who they are recruiting. They wouldn't even last a day in a battlefield. They can be picked off easily just by how scrawny and pathetic they are. They wouldn't be able to handle my trans mask boy, Zach. They always dream about wanting to eradicate all of us. But all of you immediately become feeble and thin-skinned after we fight back. You advocate for the Second Amendment, but begin to cry wolf when somebody you despise gets a hold of one. You advocate for free speech until someone speaks up about genuine concerns. You're nothing but a bunch of out-of-touch, hypocritical boomers that brings nothing but problems and misery to our world. You're a waste of air and space on Earth. And we're better off progressing as a society without you, your cronies, anyone else that thinks like you. You'll soon understand what will come. Obviously, he had a lot of emotions to process after this. Zach is an it or they, demi-boy, agender, trans, activist, alt-right, TERF, conservative, and transphobe slayer. So he's obviously in the best state of mind, especially for the apocalypse. And don't forget about the hashtag. Hashtag boys like us. Hashtag trans beauty. Hashtag transgender beauty. Hashtag transgender. Hashtag transgender man. Hashtag trans boy. Hashtag transgender boy. Hashtag trans is beautiful. Hashtag trans is now. Hashtag trans pride. Hashtag transgender pride. Hashtag trans men. Hashtag transgender men. Hashtag trans valid. Hashtag trans visibility. Hashtag trans men are men. And all of his mods usually end with this copy pasta. Keep your transphobic, racist, and homophobic comments to yourselves! This was uploaded on America Day 2024. This description is long and more of a rant. Do note people make fun of Pride Month because of corporate pandering to the gays, and of course dedicating a month to people who have sex differently is kind of silly. It's quite bizarre to see Zoe's feminine face on a masculine body, especially with those ripped abs and muscles, by God. Gutty Wuddy might be a sexist, since there isn't much detail or effort put into this mod than with the other male to female mods. Other than that, this version of Zoe has short hair, camo pants, and no shirt, taking a more militarized look. The crew decides to go through Subway, Burger King, and Taco Bell to get to Mercy Hospital to acquire drugs. After violently decimating and murdering the local population, the crew jumps to the top of the building to get picked up by their Uber. They also enjoy their yummy tummy HRT drugs while staring at the beautiful night sky. On August 2nd, 2002, at 4:19 p.m., the HRT estrogen pills were released. It was not made by Gutty Wuddy, but for a couple of his trans character mods, they're required items, so I'm throwing them in with these other mods. The description reads, simple reskin of the default painkillers to Estrofem 2mg, commonly used in hormonal replacement therapy in Europe. I have used Waifu2X to upscale the image a little bit. The Estrofem cover is a real photo taken by me. That's why localization of it is in Czech. For those more curious, Estrofem 2mg tablets contain oestradiol valerate, used to replace the loss of oestrogen at menopause to relieve symptoms of menopause. Estrofem also stimulates the development of female sexual characteristics for male to female transsexuals in transgender hormone therapy. It's an interesting retexture of the pills. Personally, I would have replaced the adrenaline shot with estrogen. It makes a little more sense to me. This is also the dude's only mod on the workshop, and he has a game ban on his profile. Not much to add for this mod, really. After Zoe makes the ultimate sacrifice, The crew takes a direct flight to a port depot in somewhere Georgia to find a sailboat to escape all these incels. On September 24th, 2023, at 3:09 a.m., Gutty Wuddy uploaded the Incel Common Infected mod. Our quote tweeted from Sniper Wolf reads, "Incels on the internet need to take all their anger and frustrations out at the gym." She would later get ratioed from a picture of her mugshot. If this is real, I probably wouldn't choose to align myself with the doxing unfunny woman. That's just my opinion. The description reads, "This is how you all look and sound when you're harassing trans and LGBT folks. Don't feel bad. Incels and zombies share something in common. They're slow, brainless, and stupid. I can't believe conservative alt-rights are recruiting chuds like you to spread their toxicity. It's no wonder why they're dying, Elmau. They're recruiting losers who haven't left their mom's basement, haven't accomplished anything in their worthless lives, and haven't touched grass for a century. And to cope with your lack of accomplishments, you decided that it's all our fault that you're a bozo incel loser. Seriously, how pathetic can you be? You listen to music made by incels, and your friends are still spamming my invites. Your friends couldn't even utter a sentence when I accepted one of their invites. I literally have to tell them that limited accounts can't forward images. Elmau. Keep your transphobic, racist, and homophobic comments to yourselves." Nothing says, "I'm right, you're wrong," more than calling people you disagree with incels, especially when you get the opportunity to violently murder them. These beautiful, ugly baby biscuits come in all sorts of varieties of whiteness, male pattern baldness, and shirts. These shirts include Ahigos, Pepe Le Frog, Negative XP, and Trump 2024. Heavy cupping with this mod, though at least the gore is good. Gore in a common affected mod is always a top priority for me, which is why I love Fall Fox's furry common infected mod, along with being able to kill furries. Walking through all this brick while being bricked myself and watching all these bricked up women, Willy Billy finds the purple and green flag for Piccolo and starts whacking people violently with it. Flag mods. Splinks is a crazy son of a bitch to replace the golf club with a flag, and have tutorials to help others make their own flag mods. There are a couple of mods that need to be discussed before touching on Gutty Wuddy's mods. The Splinks flag mod was uploaded on March 12, 2013 at 8:23 p.m. On June 2nd, 2021 at 11:21 a.m., Fall Fox released the red, yellow, and blue flag. Of all the flag mods that Gutty Wuddy made, he ignored the pan flag because Fall Fox already made that one. Fall Fox's workshop is different to Gutty Wuddy's, with more games, more professionally made, and also has a furry common infection mod I like to use so much for the gore, and to kill those heathens. On June 27th, 2022 at 10:31 p.m., Mothball released his trans flag mod. This is what inspired Gutty Wuddy's own trans flag mod, along with all the other mods. In contrast to Fall Fox, Mothball's other mods are mediocre. On May 14th, 2023, at 4:39 p.m. to 4:59 p.m., Gutty Wuddy released all of his Pride flag mods. Our quote from Frank Ocean reads, "Why be racist, sexist, homophobic, or transphobic when you could just be quiet?" Which is available to buy for only $19.99 USD. You can take the red pill and be racist, sexist, homophobic, transphobic for free, or take the blue pill and have this shirt for $20. The description reads, an updated version of Mothball's mod. Like Whitaker, Zoe is also an ally and supporter for the youth and movement. She will educate you on genders, sexuality, and the history of trans and LGBTQ in general. You should learn something from her. And to all the basement-dwelling bozo incels who are stalking and harassing me, have you looked into Mirror lately? Imagine being transphobic and homophobic in 2023. You're so mad at me for being who I am that you spammed my group invites with racism and anti-trans groups? Imagine being this pathetic in life. No wonder you dropped out of college. I didn't include the pansexual pride flag because somebody already made one. Check them out! Exclamation mark. Keep your transphobic, racist,
and homophobic comments to yourselves.
These obviously aren't as cool as the Genji Blade mod, but sometimes you gotta take what you can get. They are pride flags, so it's all meh. There are better flag mods on the workshop anyway, so as one fella asks, why would we want this mod?
Finding a sexcellent boat, the crew decides to lift a bridge to get this boat to the other side of said bridge to get it out to the Florida Keys, assuming the river went the right way. Whilst murdering those incels very violently, 3 IRS agents come out of the woodworks to stop our merry band of misfits from escaping up a bridge, and it's up to our very brave Bill to save the crew. On March 15th, 2024, at 1:33 p.m., the Trans Bill mod was released. Our quote of the day from Katie Montgomery is, "Transphobia is a disease, and it prevents your ability to act rationally." I have no idea who she is or where Gutty Wuddy got the quote. Our description reads, "I never really liked Bill. His aesthetics remind me of a lot of fascist, alt-right, conservative boomers that wants to cause the deaths of all trans and LGBT folks. I can't even fathom why everybody likes him. He's a terrible written character and his dialogue is pure cringe. In The Sacrifice, Zoe had solutions to alleviate the problems, and Bill just kept shutting her down. I hated that so much, and it was real infuriating. Just because you think the world was always like this, doesn't mean it can't change. Mindsets like this really pisses me off, and it's the real reason why we can't grow and progress. You contribute to the problem if you still treat the world like it was 40 years ago. Racism, discrimination, and rampant transphobia and homophobia is not a sign of better days, and is nothing to be nostalgic about." The description may have been written to provoke people, especially with his dislike of Bill, but who knows. Trans Bill doesn't come with his own name. That's how little he cares for Willy Billy. This version of Bill is an it, they, or her queer arrow author, trans activist, alt-right turf, and transphobe slayer. Hashtag girls like us. Hashtag trans beauty. Hashtag transgender beauty. Hashtag transgender. Hashtag transgender woman. Hashtag trans girl. Hashtag trans woman. Hashtag transgender girl. Hashtag trans is beautiful. Hashtag trans is now. Hashtag trans pride. Hashtag transgender pride. Hashtag trans women. Hashtag transgender women. Hashtag trans valid. Hashtag trans visibility. Hashtag trans women are women. And, most importantly, keep your transphobic, racist, and homophobic comments to yourselves. Do note that after Bill heroically sacrifices himself, Zoe takes up a more colder and we're on our own mentality, especially in the passing campaign. So Zoe learned from Bill instead of, vice versa, because Bill was always right. This mod, it creeps me out the most. This old ass fart. Gutty Wuddy slapped some ugly ass red hair onto this old fart and called it a day. There's also the flannel jacket and the Protect Trans Kids shirt. Please don't transition your kids, thank you. The years in Gutty Wuddy have not been kind to this man. Rest in peace, Jim French. You do not deserve to die for Gutty Wuddy to make fun of your character. After the violent death of our favorite old man, the second group of survivors got dropped off on top of a burning building for being cringe and lame.
Hey! There's still people on the roof! Get back here!
Okay, helicopters don't come back when you yell at them. Now we know that.
Our new crew heads for the mall for girly stuff on the suggestion of the redneck Ellis, who knows the local area. The Trans Ellis mod, released on June 29th, 2024 at 6:01 a.m. Sadly, there's no quote to go with this mod. The description reads, "Happy Pride Month! To celebrate Pride Month, I'll be overhauling and revising my very first and oldest Survivor add-ons. This is the best one I've made so far. I'm truly happy and proud with the outcome of Samantha's overhaul. Everything matches up to their aesthetic and is more closer to my original version. Making her overhaul was challenging for me, but I'm proud to know that I'm absolutely getting better at it. I'm gonna push myself further in what I can make. This has been a long journey for me as a creator. I had to deal with basement-dwelling incels spamming my invites, finding ways to harass me, and mass downvoting my mods. Luckily, it looks like a lot of them has gotten bored of targeting me after days of inactivity. It shows you how much they lack any form of intelligence when it comes to their raids. The last overhaul I am making is more personal to me. I'll be putting the same amount of love and care to it as I did to Lana and Samantha. It'll be coming out soon. Samantha here is a they or her artist, writer, animator, activist who does not go out of her way to slay those alt-right, anti-trans, conservative, blah blah blahs. She believes in peace. Hashtag girls like us. Hashtag trans beauty. Hashtag transgender beauty. Hashtag transgender. Hashtag transgender woman. Hashtag trans girl. Hashtag transgender girl. Hashtag trans is beautiful. Hashtag trans is now. Hashtag trans pride. Hashtag transgender pride. Hashtag trans women. Hashtag transgender women. Hashtag trans valid. Hashtag trans visibility. Hashtag trans women are women. And of course, keep your transphobic, racist, and homophobic comments to yourselves. Now, as much as I am a great connoisseur of pink, this is way too much pink to put on one Ellis. It's sad to see Ellis wearing a pink, oversized Discord hoodie with cat ears. He's also got pink hair and striped legging socks with the sickest sneakers I've ever seen. And don't forget about the Joker. Ew! And this is the start of what we'll see for most of these mods. Jiggle physics. They'll be coming back every once in a while. Ellis has breasts now. On their way to the mall, they go through and steal from a gun store, but it's cool because the southern redneck gun guy has a flag for his support of Piccolo as well. Whitaker flag mods. It just makes sense that this gun store owner in the deep south during 2009 is a gay ally. These mods were released on May 10th, 2023 at 6:16 p.m. to 7:01 p.m. This is the same "wanna be racist, sexist, homophobic, transphobic when you could be quiet" quote from the Pride Melee mod. To quote the description, Whitaker showing his support for the trans and LGBTQ plus movement. You don't like it? Fool. Cope incels. I plan on uploading more trans and LGBT rep on the workshop. Why don't you get out of your mom's basement and touch grass? Keep your transphobic, racist, and homophobic comments to yourselves. Mediocre. Fun fact, Whitaker's flag is a common asset in most maps, since it is a generic American flag. So if this mod is used to change the flags will appear elsewhere, such as in the sacrifice or in the parish. Whilst at the mall, they do a lot of things. Shoot things, look at things, shoot more things, break into more things, set off alarms, violently kill more things. Very important things are being done. Ellis suggested stealing a car. A great idea, as always. Acquiring the gas, the crew drives away to somewhere, Georgia.
To the little lady.
Nick, he's talking to me.
Francis stands on top of the bridge to talk to a pretty lady? On July 10th, 2024, at 9:50 a.m., a cold day in history, a day that will go down as a tragedy, the Trans Francis mod dropped. Our quote for today comes from John Oliver, a rich, white, liberal British comedian who definitely cares for the common man and the gays.
First, you don't need a dating app to find conservatives online. Just go on to any existing app and filter for people who describe their views as moderate. Any single woman in a big city can tell you moderate just means I'm a right-wing nut job, but I like to get laid, please.
Description time. I have to admit, remastering Ashley took quite longer than I expected. She was finished a day prior to her release, but I wasn't happy with her aesthetics. I fully redid her first iteration, but I ended up remaking it again. Surely enough, it didn't take as much remakes as I did for Rose. I'm delighted by the fact it didn't take me multiple redos for Ashley's aesthetics. It truly encapsulates my journey of being an artist and a creator. I'm optimistic I'll be able to finish Josh's overhaul with very little to no redos or mistakes. This new process I'm doing now with my Survivor mods is honestly more easier and beneficial prior to my older methods. Ashleyan is a she or her demi-lesbian turf and transphobe slayer essayist socialist / hashtag girls like us, hashtag trans beauty, hashtag transgender beauty, hashtag transgender, hashtag transgender woman, hashtag trans girl, hashtag transgender girl, hashtag trans is beautiful, hashtag trans is now, hashtag trans pride, hashtag transgender pride, hashtag trans woman, hashtag trans women, hashtag transgender women, hashtag trans valid, hashtag trans visibility, hashtag trans women are women. B. Keep your transphobic, racist, homophobic comments to yourselves. B. Keep your transphobic, racist, and homophobic comments to yourselves. B. Keep your transphobic, racist, and homophobic comments to yourselves. A. HDN net. You can see 96196842288219005F7BEFDFD4C4C7 6C5DCCE 598923763789HDB. Obviously, Gutty Wuddy made an error editing this mod, though his mistake is mostly on the mod page. Francis's ugly biker face does not look any better with makeup on it. That is the worst makeup do I've ever seen. Long black hair and a black Adidas getup. That's funny. Adidas is funny. And jiggle physics, because it can't be a female character mod on the workshop without jiggle physics in the right places. How disgusting and perturbing. Ultimately deciding to go under the river instead of finding another bridge, Rochelle bravely interrupts Hatsune Miku's wedding. The Trans Rochelle mod is Gutty Wuddy's most recent mod, being released on July 23rd, 2024 at 10:19 a.m. Our quote is, "Keep alive, stay alive." Lyrics from Frank Ocean's Skyline 2. Beautiful. Our description for the evening is, "This was made in celebration of my friend transitioning. Presumably, I wanted to overhaul Josh's aesthetics before, but honestly, there was never any flaws with the original. They're as perfect as they are. I settled upon updating their textures and resolving any issues that were present in the original version. This was the second and most personal mod I've made. He was gleeful when he first saw it, in addition to being his most favorite survivor in the game. It also encapsulates and represents his journey undergoing ERT. I don't have much to say again to one of the lowlives that are still spamming my friend invites. They've always proved my point countless of times in my discussion posts. Enjoy your time with your alt while it lasts. Your mains will be a part of it. I'll continue being who I am. You continue to waste your existence being unproductive incels." I'm sure Gutty Wuddy's doing fine. Josh is a they or them non-binary, queer, demisexual, activist, linguist, fascist slayer. Hashtag boys like us, hashtag trans beauty, hashtag transgender beauty, hashtag transgender, hashtag transgender man, hashtag trans boy, hashtag transgender boy, hashtag trans is beautiful, hashtag trans is now, hashtag trans pride, hashtag transgender pride, hashtag trans min, hashtag transgender min, hashtag trans valid, hashtag trans visibility, hashtag trans men are men, and most importantly, keep your transphobic, racist, and homophobic comments to yourselves! There's not much to learn from this mod, though he does have friends. That's quite bizarre to know about. Supposedly, at least. This version of Rochelle is showing quite a bit of skin, though thankfully there are no boobies on her. Boobies. She's got short hair and a little bit of facial hair growing. She's only wearing jeans. This short, muscular black guy with Rochelle's voice coming out of that face. Is this Kevin Hart? The shirtless aspect may be how Gutty Wuddy perceives masculine men, or at least trans men. Going under the bridge and through the shitter, the crew make it to the other side to see the first crew. The L4D2 crew has to fill the generator with gas to lower the bridge, while the Left 4 Dead 1 crew defends from the bridge, with poor little Lewis manning the big guns. On March 13th, 2024, at 12:33 p.m., Lois came out. I lied. Lewis doesn't get a new name because Gutty Wuddy is a racist and a sexist. Our quote today is, "Trans rights and trans pride," said by no one. It just starts off the mod. Now that I modded in the two biggest transphobic losers in society, I can start working on my other add-on. And incels, are you running out of emails to register? After accepting the various racist and transphobic group invites that you have sent, it's always the same limited accounts with the same copied and pasted names. Lumafau. I already have a lot of them blocked and only noticed 2 new ones that weren't limited. What's the matter? Mommy's credit card being declined? You couldn't even get more moronic friends to add cash on their alts. So whenever I accept your stupid group invitations after I added your ult, they can't spam anything cause their accounts are limited, lol. And it already happened like 6 times, ilmafao. Imagine literally thinking you chuds were cooking. I do admire your organization's dedication to raising their electricity bill and being a bunch of clowns providing free entertainment for me and my friends. Does Gutty Wuddy believe you need money to make a Steam account? Lois is a she and her bisexual artist, animator, musician. Hashtag girls like us. Hashtag trans beauty. Hashtag transgender beauty. Hashtag transgender. Hashtag transgender woman. Hashtag trans girl. Hashtag transgender girl. Hashtag trans is beautiful. Hashtag trans is now. Hashtag trans pride. Hashtag transgender pride. Hashtag trans woman. Hashtag transgender woman. Hashtag trans valid. Hashtag trans visibility. Hashtag trans women are women. And
Keep your transphobic, racist, and homophobic comments to yourselves.
now, Lewis. Lewis here is wearing one of the worst shirts I've ever seen. Purple cloth and pink plastic together? God, ew, that would feel disgusting. I do like the color pink and purple though. Terribly designed shirt. I hate it. Green skirt and leggings, ugly green dreadlocks under a beanie, and Lewis's masculine face to finish it all. It's very bizarre. And don't forget about the humongously disproportionate body parts, along with some jiggle bones to go along with it. The crew head to the car on the other side of the bridge.
Thank you guys. Good luck.
Unfortunately, having 3 women drive a car was very dangerous, so it crashed off the bridge. Thankfully, Virgil the talking boat was under the bridge at that exact moment,
Virgil.
so Virgil takes the crew to New Orleans himself.
This is as far as Virgil goes, but you can make it back to the bridge from here.
Thanks, Virgil. You stay safe, brother.
Good luck to you.
There's the bridge. You sure they're gonna be there?
Virgil is also sporting his support for Piccolo as well. March 11th, 2024, at 6:21 a.m. to 8:24 a.m. Virgil gets his own flag mods, which is curious because I don't remember Virgil having a flag on the backside of his boat. I must be bad at paying attention. The quote for these mods is from Chris Tyson. I mean, if that's the reason, maybe it was just general transphobia. Maybe they just don't like me. He would later try to copulate with kids on Discord. Virgil showing his undying love and support for us LGBT and trans folks. I already know that the alt-right incels are molding earn as soon as they see the sight of pride and inclusivity. I already gave these chuds the attention they starve for. The only thing can tell them now? Cope. Smiley face. Keep your transphobic, racist, and homophobic comments to yourselves. Smiley face. The flag is hard to see anyway. Virgil appears in 4 instances throughout the campaigns, and they're either at the beginning and ends of campaigns. It's a really bizarre thing to mod a mod after. In New Orleans, the crew make their way through streets, the seat of massacre, the graveyard, streets, a bar, and a float, and more streets to get onto the bridge. Nicholas gets violently mauled apart by a slime and skeleton. Transnick came out on June 27th, 2024 at 8:19 p.m. No quote today. Happy Pride Enough! To celebrate Pride Month, I'll be overhauling and revising my very first and oldest Survivor add-ons! I was supposed to upload the revamped version of Lana at the start of July onto the workshop. At the same time, I postponed the upload to join my friends during Pride Month. Never have I felt so alive and ecstatic being with my mutuals while being surrounded by acceptance, validity, inclusivity, and love during those days. I just wish our month could have been extended until December. I never want it to end. Evidently, I got home at June 24 and went to upload the overhaul of Lana. However, I wasn't too happy with how it turned out. The first version of the overhaul didn't really fit her aesthetics and wasn't uniform to my vision. I reworked on her for 2 days and am truly proud and fulfilled with her current aesthetics. Samantha will be overhauled next. I'm really fond on working on them since they and I share a lot of the same goals and traits along with Rose. I cherish the both of them so much. Lana is a she or her activist, songwriter, teacher, director.
Hashtag girls like us. Hashtag trans beauty. Hashtag transgender beauty. Hashtag transgender. Hashtag transgender woman. Hashtag trans girl. Hashtag transgender girl. Hashtag trans is beautiful. Hashtag trans is now. Hashtag trans pride. Hashtag transgender pride. Hashtag trans woman. Hashtag transgender woman. Hashtag trans valid. Hashtag transraciality. Hashtag trans women are women. Keep your transphobic, racist, and homophobic comments to yourselves.
Trans Nick is called Lana. I think just having the name of the mod be Trans Nick instead of Lana is dehumanizing the character, since Gutty Wuddy doesn't appreciate Lana for who she is, but what she is. And this, of course, applies to all the other mods. Long black hair and white glasses shroud Nick's ugly-ass face. He's wearing a pink shirt, tan skirt, and black leggings. Jiggle physics and disproportionate body parts, as usual. On the bridge, the crew lower it, and Nick makes the ultimate sacrifice, trying to abandon all his friends. His loyal friends have left Nick left for I don't know what they did to him. I wouldn't know. Left for I don't know. And they fly off to do something. And that was a sad day for the end of this story. But we have neglected Coach in all this, mainly because his textures were messed up for me, and all he was a large pile of purple and black missing textures. So I wonder what his transmod is On July 6th, 2024, at 2:52 p.m., this came out. There is a sexual content warning before this mod, and trans pride and trans rights. Even though I still like my previous version of Rose, I believe this overhaul further showcases how much I grew as a creator compared to my previous creations. The first version of Rose was very personal to me. I made around the time where I was celebrating my 2 years on HRT. And now, it's been 3 years, and it was still the best decision I have ever made in my lifetime. No amount of shaming or slurs is going to make me regret my decision. I am all of me. It's my choice. Worry about actual problems other than being extremely bigoted to us because of your outdated view of the world. I can't fathom why it's hard for them to just let us be. Again, I'm expecting too much from a crowd consisting of undergraduates, double-digit IQ hypocrites. Cretins aside, this version was been in development months after Rose's initial release. It was primarily just a fun pastime to do. It wasn't as presentable as my newest ones, that's the most I can tell you, lol. I went back at it and tested myself if I can bring it up to quality of my newest releases. In all sincerity, it turned out way better than I imagined. I really enjoyed making them. On the other side, my only message for the fastest incel stalking me, get new material. Even on my thread, you're still repeating the same defamatory statements and transphobic sentiments towards me. It's the equivalent of talking to a wall or watching paint dry. A lot of your unoriginality is so blatantly abysmal that I almost feel bad for you. In some ways, I pity you for being like this. Perhaps it's time to start touching grass and begin living as normal functioning person? Do it for everyone. Anyway, overhauls for Ashley and Josh are getting worked on. They also deserve love and fulfillment. Rose is she or they, queer, BLM, cosplayer, artist, writer, along with the hashtag jargon keeping racism to myself or something. You've heard it all before. It shows a lot of skin. Shit ton of skin. Coach's masculine, beautiful face can't hide the big bazongas and thick bahootie that he's hiding. I don't care about what he's wearing because he may as well be naked. God damn! Nothing says trans representation than being overtly sexualized. The older version showed a lot more skin, and the jiggle physics are an afterthought with those large things in my face. Now, of course, this isn't the full catalog of Gutty Wuddy's mods. He's got one Gary's Mod, and it's the Ava Tyson character, player, NPC, and Ragdoll mod. Released on April 16th, 2023 at 6:20 a.m., the Ava Tyson mod was officially released on Gmod. The description reads, "The man, the myth, the meme god is finally here. Mr. Beast's co-host / best friend is now available in the workshop. She can do challenges, pranks, or anything funnily outrageous." In my professional opinion, this has not aged that well, because a year later, Chris would be made out as a very nutty person. There are also a couple of common infected mods I ignored. The first is the Dave Chappelle Common Infected mod. Dave Chappelle came onto the Left 4 Dead workshop March 6, 2024 at 6:15 p.m. Our quote comes from Trace Lysette. I have no idea who she is. Oh my god! Who goes on to make 3 comedy specials about the dolls because you can't take? Indubitably. The description reads, unfunny comedian that was never funny to begin with, and has built his career off masking his bigotry as jokes. To cope with his declining popularity, he has a whole segment dedicated to trans people in his comedy routine, the type of comedy that the conservative alt-right would find funny. He had the audacity to make fun of us as anti-trans legislation are slowly being integrated in each part of the state. We have no idea which state this is. I can't even comprehend why people still watch him. He's a prime definition of a failed comedian whose jokes only consist of something an edgelord incel would think of. You can't call yourself a comedian if majority of your jokes are just ableism, racism, stereotypes, racism, transphobia, or homophobia. Wait, what? If majority of your jokes are just ableism, racist stereotypes, racism, transphobia, or homophobia, you're not living in Y2K anymore. Grow up! Especially the incels who are mass reporting my add-ons. Consider touching grass if you still find any of these jokes funny. Keep your transphobic, racist, and homophobic comics to yourselves. I have no idea who Dave Chappelle is. Apparently he made an unfunny or transphobic joke or something. I don't know. I just know that it feels good to shoot more people. I wouldn't know. Then there's the J.K. Rowling Common Infected mod. Rowling also came onto the Left 4 Dead 2 workshop on March 8th, 2024 at 4:38 a.m., just 2 days after Dave Chappelle came onto the Left 4 Dead 2 workshop. Our quote for today comes from Michaela J. No idea who she is. In the times of adversity and in times of despair, I choose hope and joy, and I let my pistos shower all over those haters and people who don't see it fit for us. Indubitably. Our description for the evening reads, vile, hateful turf that actively wants to eradicate us for existing, making slanderous lies and having people believe in false narratives about trans people, continuously ignores the facts in front of her, downplays anyone who dares tries to correct her while continuing to spread her hateful rhetoric as spread of awareness. You're just an out-of-touch boomer who can't cope with change and progress. You wouldn't be anything without the Harry Potter franchise. You and Dave Chappelle need to be incarcerated for the amount of damage you have done to society. Eventually, sooner or later, when you're nothing, you'll be begging us for forgive you. But we never forget. Time will come and you, along with your cronies, will soon be brought to justice. Keep your transphobic, racist, and homophobic comments to yourselves. Very corny.
According to my research, J.K. Rowling is a sexist who doesn't like men, so her intolerance of trans women stems from that. With those dead eyes and misshapen teeth, I think Gutty Wuddy got the British look down.
And then there's the Aiden Hale mod. Here's where the divide happens. The true meat to the debate on the legitimacy of Guttman. This is an archived mod that was either deleted or removed from Guttman's catalog. On April 5th, 2023, at 8:15 p.m., Guttman released the Aiden Hale mod, just 9 days after the Nashville shooting. Trans rights. A role model and a symbol to the trans youth. His contributions will never be forgotten. Keep your transphobic, racist, and homophobic comments to yourselves. Despicably evil mod. Left, right, and center, everyone agrees that hurting children is the worst thing you can do. And to memorialize a monster that killed children is despicable. This is disgusting. There isn't even any subtlety or nuance. This archive is all that remains of Guttman's older mods, and this is where the divide between legit and troll starts, and probably should end. Guttman, the modder, is pretending to be this ultra-leftist who works to play into the leftist crazy narrative and stereotype. But there's that worm in my mind, an itch that says, okay, but what about the other mods? Why hasn't he tried again? Is he keeping on the down low and acting like this to slip himself with the crowd? Why use obscure quotes from public figures? Why would he keep updating his old mods? Why would he disable comments and private his profile if this was all just an act? How good is he at playing a character? Why would he put so much effort into this crap if it was all an act? Why not make good mods if he can make this? If he's going to make crap mods like these, why not just focus on good mods? It's just confusing. This video was brought to you by no one! Absolutely nobody! And viewers like you. Thank you. I believe that the best way to understand this whippersnapper is to analyze the series of events and mod creations that have been made to get us to this point. The Splinks flag mod was uploaded on March 12, 2013 at 8:23 p.m. On June 2nd, 2021 at 11:21 a.m., Fall Fox released the red, yellow, and blue flag mod. On June 27th, 2021 at 10:31 p.m., Mothball released his trans flag mod. And on August 2nd, 2022 at 4:19 p.m., the dude released his estrogen pills mod. These are all important for the plot, I swear. On April 5th, 2023 at 8:15 p.m., Guttman released his Aiden Hale mod. This and the other older mods would be deleted or removed. On April 16th, 2023 at 6:20 a.m., the Ava Tyson mod appeared on Gmod. On May 10th, 2023 at 6:16 p.m. to 7:01 p.m., the Whitaker flag mods came out. On May 14th, 2023 at 4:39 p.m. to 4:59 p.m., just 4 days later, the Pride flag mods came out. On September 24th, 2023 at 3:09 a.m., the Incel Common Infected mod came out. On March 6, 2024 at 6:15 p.m., the Dave Chappelle Common Infected mod came out. On March 8, 2024 at 4:38 a.m., just 2 days later, the J.K. Rowling Common Infected mod came out. On March 11th, 2024 at 6:21 a.m. to 8:24 a.m., just 3 days later, the Virgil Pride flag mods came out. 2 days later, on March 13th, 2024 at 12:33 p.m., Trans Lewis came out. 2 days later, on March 15th, 2024 at 1:33 p.m., Trans Bill came out. A few months later, on June 16th, 2024, was my birthday. I was quite happy. On June 27th, 2024 at 8:19 p.m., Trans Nick came out, the first of his redesigns. Then on June 29th, 2024, at 6:01 a.m., just 2 days later, Trans Alice came out. 6 days later, on July 4th, 2024, at 10:41 a.m., Trans Zoe came out. 2 days later, on July 6th, 2024, at 2:52 p.m., Trans Coach came out. 4 days later, on July 10th, 2024, at 9:50 a.m., the Trans Francis mod dropped. And finally, on July 23rd, 2024, at 10:19 a.m., the final redesign, Trans Rochelle, came out. And on December 20th, 2024, the 7th TF2 comic dropped. This is also important, I swear. Based on this, Gutty Wuddy is a fast fucking modder. With the pride flags, I understand the speed at which they're made. It's not that hard to slap straight lines together and put them on a model. But making characters days apart from each other? Holy fucking shit, that's fast! I know he's not reinventing Nick or starting from scratch with each character, but bloody hell, that's fast as fuck. At least for me anyway, I'm still stuck on the donut level. It could either be that he's having the mods simmer in the background, is secretly a group of individuals, he likes to take assets straight off of modeling sites, or Gutty Wuddy decides just not have a job for a few weeks and decides to make trans character mods of the L4 Dead 2 crew. You get to decide what's truly true. Ugh. So, who is this character of Gutty Wuddy? Not just the modder, but what character he's trying to portray himself as. If this is a troll, then the person behind it is playing a character, so we have to determine what person this troll is trying to play as. Or this could be the legit modder, Gutty Wuddy, and how he acts normally. Who knows? These are things that I could only infer from what is implied from his descriptions of his mods, and what I can glean from his activity. These could be valid, or could be me speaking out of my ass, but it is what makes most sense to me, based on my limited knowledge and research. 1. Gutty Wuddy is trans. Gutty Wuddy claims to have been taking hormone replacement therapy for 3 years, as of the Coach Trans mod. 2. Gutty Wuddy might be a racial minority. Turning off the comments because of transphobic and homophobic comments may make sense, but why stipulate that you don't want racist comments as well? It makes sense to me to think that he's a minority.
Also, he said that the Rose mod was personal to him, which may imply that he is indeed African American.
3. He uses SFM. Looking through his favorite mods on Steam, he has a bunch of mods added for SFM. That does explain how he got multiple screenshots of Zoe, Virgil, and the Whitaker store with the same angle but with different flags. 4. Gutty Wuddy has friends. This is true, he has friends. Very impressive, though he does mention one is also trans, so he might not have them on the value of their person, but on the value of what they represent. 5. Gutty Wuddy cares more about what you are rather than who you are. All of his mods are titled Trans Zoe, Trans Alice, or Trans Coach, instead of Zach, Samantha, or Rose, which puts more emphasis on what they are rather than who they are. 6. Gutty Wuddy is likely a college graduate. When trying to denounce those who he dislikes, he often makes the comment about how the trolls are undergraduate college dropouts, which suggests that he has gone to college. 7. Gutty Wuddy is illiterate. Even though Gutty Wuddy went to college, it doesn't seem like he took any English classes. There are multiple spelling and grammar errors in his mod descriptions. 8. Gutty Wuddy leans heavily left. I mean, personally, I couldn't even tell. Gutty Wuddy is so left. He's put himself into a corner and tribally removed himself from anybody else. 9. Gutty Wuddy is the fan of that one Netflix show, the one that has the non-binary demon in it. His profile picture was that one fat gay Mexican guy with the blue hair, then it switched to Marcin from Adventure Time, and now it's blank. 10. Gutty Wuddy is appreciative of the arts. His trans characters work in more artistic fields than realistic hardworking fields like being a cosplayer or being a writer instead of being a farmer or being a factory worker. 11. Gutty Wuddy would rather solve disagreements through violence than words. Now, personally, I believe that killing incels, Dave Chappelle, J.K. Rowling, or evil conservatives doesn't solve disagreements or conflicts. It only divides people even more. 12. Gutty Wuddy only exists on the workshop. No YouTube, no Reddit, no Tumblr, no Twitter, not even on Blue Sky. He might exist on more deviant sites, but I dare not look. It can be even more difficult to find his account now that Gutty Wuddy has changed his name to Fuck This Country. 13. Gutty Wuddy has a private account. No public comments on his mods, won't accept my friend requests, has me blocked, and his profile is just private to the whole world. 14. Gutty Wuddy is insecure? Of course, he leaves the comments off, but for inexplicable reasons. If it was a troll, I struggle to see why he wouldn't just leave the comments on, unless he's a really bad troll and just can't handle that pressure. 15. Gutty Wuddy removes discussions. Looking through discussions on the Left 4 Dead 2 workshop, there appears to be only one discussion left that brings up Gutty Wuddy. It appears that Gutty Wuddy has been taking down discussions and posts that bring him up, which he has been called out for in this remaining post. 16. Gutty Wuddy is fast as fuck. As I've already said, he might be stealing assets off of sites, is secretly not just one person but a team of artists working together for an elaborate prank, or is one insanely fast fuck. 17. Gutty Wuddy seems sexually frustrated. The mods are very goonish and sexually made, like having large breasts or the men being overtly muscular with their shirts off. So there could be some projecting about his sexual fantasies when he made those mods. 18. Gutty Wuddy is knowledgeable on the Left 4 Dead 2 lore. On the Trans Bill mod, he mentions the divide between Zoe and Bill and their opposing worldviews. Gutty Wuddy suggests that throwing yourself to the hordes and all the zombies is somehow a better solution than just trying to survive. 19. Gutty Wuddy might have father or authority issues. From the same mod, I can assume that Gutty Wuddy doesn't have a good relationship with his daddy, being so angry and disconnected to the Chad Bill. 20. Gutty Wuddy hates the freedom of speech, but likes the right to bear arms. In the Trans Zoe mod, he makes this comment: evil, nasty conservatives advocate for the Second Amendment, but begin to cry wolf when somebody you despise gets a hold of one. He might actually have a gun, who knows. 21. Probably an incel. I have no evidence for this. This is just something I feel should be written down. 22. Gutty Wuddy may be an experienced modder in disguise. Looking through the posts and discussions, one name that popped up was Funreal. I doubt that Funreal or anybody would hop on a second account just to make these mods, but you know, who knows. There is also the possibility that Gutty Wuddy is not just one person but multiple people. That could explain the speed at which these mods are made. 23. Guttman supports or supported Audrey Hale. Straightforward, he's supported or supports a monstrous person.
We've gone over the character of Gutty Wuddy, but who is the man behind the modding? Who is the man behind Gutty Wuddy? Not just the man he's pretending to be. Who really is Gutty Wuddy the modder? Basically, tonight, on Oogly Doogly Blunkle's Mod Reviews Raw, we introduce to the grand stage 3-year reigning champion of being cringe and owning the libs, best mods for the best game, the master rage baiter, crushing Gutty Wuddy! That's right! Gutty Wuddy is nothing more than a troll, making these mods in order to drive up attention to him and to portray the general left as incompetent, crazy, extremist haters of the right who are obsessed with identity as much as they are killing those that said slightly mean things to them. That explains why one of his first mods he ever uploaded, among all the other mods that are sadly lost to time, is the Audrey Hale mod, the one that would get people's jimmies ruffled, along with why he has made all the other characters look so off and ugly And that is why I don't believe it. I don't buy Guttman as a troll. I made it very clear that it's more complicated than just slapping on the troll label and going on with our lives. If Gutty Wuddy was truly a troll, then he is doing some very, very poor trolling behavior. I mean, who turns off the comments to your offensive mods or posts? Trolling, in my professional opinion, in my own definition, is built off of attraction and engagement. And by turtling himself, Gutty Wuddy has failed to be a proper troll. Plus, why would he feel it necessary to remove his old offensive content or rework and update his mods if they were all goofs and bait to begin with? Why would he have a private profile if he was trying to, be so naughty? It doesn't make sense unless you consider the possibility he started off with the intent to troll. That's right. Gutty Wuddy is a troll gone woke. I hope that last bit made sense. I spent way too much time on it. He may have originally started off with the intent to troll, based on how raunchy, risky, avant-garde his original mods were, but something may have happened to throw him astray. Maybe he grew out of it. Maybe he changed his ways. Maybe he watched too much Some More News or other breadtubers. Maybe he found how wholesome Chungus 100 Reddit is. Maybe his quote-unquote friends showed him the right way. Maybe he's blah blah blah. Maybe he's being blackmailed. Maybe he's a sellout. Or maybe he truly is a troll and he's just waiting in the shadows, waiting for one more chance to strike again. The answer to this possibility being true is a hard maybe? Though of course, there still isn't a non-zero possibility that any troll is willing to go so deep to do crap like updating his old models or removing offensive material to make himself more believable. Unless he was no troll and he was being 100% legitimate from the beginning.
It's quite alright, I need you, baby. To all the lonely night, I love you, baby. Trust in me when I say, oh, pretty baby, don't bring me down, I pray, oh, pretty baby. Now that I found you, say, oh, pretty baby. Trust in me when I say, I need you, baby. When will you come my way, oh, pretty baby. Now that I found you, stay, I let me love you, baby. Let me love you.
In my quote-unquote humble opinion, Gutty Wuddy is more than likely a legitimate modder. It really comes down to the possibility that this is not an act, and an inability to explain away a few lingering questions rather than just mindlessly repeating, "But they say he is but a troll." Why would a troll have a private account? Why would he disable comments on a transphobic mod for transphobia? Why would a troll remake older versions of their mods? Why would a troll not try again with the Audrey Hale mod? Why would a troll make pride flags, especially for an NPC like Virgil, whom we don't even see for a majority of the game? Why would a troll care to put so much effort into these mods and make the characters look, well, good, I guess? Either he's a really shitty troll with some insane dedication, or, more likely, he actually acts like this. Especially for a troll, it would be weird to see this stuff in legitimate pride collections if he was doing it just for the lulz. Though of course, why does it matter if he's a troll, a sleeper agent, or legit? In the end, it's very clear. He's just another gooner on the workshop. Gutty Wuddy's a gooner. That's it. He likes big, jiggly boobies on his men, or big ol' sweaty, muscular, shirtless men with well-shaven faces. He's one horny motherfucker. He likes his awoogas, and he likes his bazookas. He likes his awooga gazoos without getting in too much trouble. Believe me, there are far more worse mods on the workshop. I can't even show this. And it seems to me that Gutty Wuddy just wants to fit in with these weirdos? Alright, I guess. But if you're going to make weird, sexualized mods of the Left 4 Dead 2 crew, you may as well go all in, you know? Give us the naked coach mod. Drop the nude Nick and Ellis mods already, dude. Come on, bro. Go all out. Give me some proper bazongas.
So, that's it. Those are my thoughts on Gutty Wuddy and his modifications to the game Left 4 Dead 2. Jesus fucking Christ. This project started off back in November when I upgraded my gaming setup so my footage wouldn't look all shite. But the idea for this video started all the way back in April of 2023 when I started cataloging Gutty Wuddy's mods on the official conservative cultist armory, which also had the intent of allowing people to comment on his mods. These mods were weird and bizarre and it caught my attention. No one else talked about them like this, so I figured I would. This just shows you my professionalism with being a procrastinator. Like I said, please don't harass Gutty Wuddy. That's supposed to be my job. That's what I'm doing right now. You can admire his work, you can download his mods, test them out for yourself, but do not harass the guy, alright? Since it's already halfway through June and Gutty Wuddy hasn't changed his profile since last November and nothing's been uploaded, I'll just assume that he's on a hiatus. Hopefully he's not dead. Hopefully. It'd be a real shame if he were. If he does decide to upload anything, my advice to him, to you, Gutty Wuddy, would be to give up. Give up on the LGTV mods. He's got more than enough talent to not waste it on crap like that, you know? Give us some legitimate, real mods people would actually like to use and actually like to admire, not just weird gooner bait of Nicholas with boobies. As for the rest of his mods and what to do with them, I think they deserve a proper send-off.
I don't want to set the world on fire. I just want to start a flame in your heart.
but one desire, and that one is you. No other will do. I've lost all ambition for worldly acclaim. I just want to be the one you love.